Trinity Lutheran concert series. This is a concert series that is in its third season, and we're thrilled to bring back to the series W. Mark Akin, classical guitarist. Last time Mark was here, we just had an absolute blast. I was amazed, and so were others, about the things that he could do with the guitar. And so we're so excited to have him back here today. One of the purposes of our concert series here at Trinity is to raise money for our core missions here. And today we're going to recognize and lift up Gateway 180, which is a fantastic St. Louis organization. And later on, we're going to bring up Peggy Miller. She's going to tell you a little bit about some of the work that they do. And during the intermission, we will take a free will donation, and we'll kind of pass the plates around. So just wanted you to be prepared for that. That is one of the purposes we're here. Of course, the other purpose is to enjoy each other's company and some great music. So without further ado, let's welcome up W. Mark Akin.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming out this afternoon. I've got a mic here just so the people online can hear me. On today's program, I'm kind of essentially bouncing back and forth between Spain and Latin America with a couple of detours thrown in. So the first piece entitled Batacocha by Brazilian guitarist Marco Pereira. It's kind of just like a saucy dance, and Marco basically really just draws on that sort of jazzy Brazilian heritage for all of his pieces. This next piece, it's by the great Spanish pianist Isaac Albéniz, and it's just a hauntingly beautiful piece of music. Albéniz never wrote music for the guitar. All of his music has all been transcribed for the guitar, but that's how often you hear it is on guitar and not on piano. So this piece, Mallorca, it kind of follows his typical A-B-A format. So you have this really dark D minor A section. And then we get a little more lights, a little more, the sun comes out for the B section in D major, and then we repeat that A section in D minor. It's one of these really great pieces that you can kind of just like live in and be in. And I'm sure the real Mallorca is a great place to live too. So, Mallorca by Isaac Albéniz. thank you so much. There we go. Need my mic just in case. Thank you so much. So this next piece is entitled Batuque by Ernesto Nazareth. And Nazareth he's a Brazilian pianist around the turn of the century, and he's really can be considered the Brazilian Scott Joplin. Pianist around the same time period, and his music is light and bouncy. It's kind of jazzy, but not yet all the way jazz, and so, but you can tell that's kind of on the way there. This piece Batuque is arranged by the great Brazilian guitarist Sergio Assad. And Sergio is an incredible composer and arranger, but that means he's taken pretty much all of the notes as he can from the piano version and throw it on the guitar, and he's like, well, here you go, good luck. So to make this piece, the kind of giving it the light kind of bouncy feel that it needs is tricky when Sergio's arrangement is making you do all these crazy things on the left hand. But still just a really fun piece, and I really enjoy it. This is Batuque by Ernesto Nazareth. Thank you so much. This next piece was a real hit from last season's concerts, and so I figured I might as well keep it. This is Farewell to Stromness by Peter Maxwell Davies. Now, the thing about Peter Maxwell Davies as a composer, his music is very, very dissonant, very angular, very 20th century. However, and he has this piece, Farewell to Stromness. So Davies is was a very staunch environmentalist, and he lived off the Isle of Orkney in the British Isles, and the government was about to do uranium mining there, and so the thing about uranium mining is that it's very incredibly dangerous, and everyone who lived there on the island would have to be forced out of their homes. So in a kind of in a show of protest, Peter Maxwell Davies wrote this cabaret-style suite of music for voice and piano called the Yellow Cake Review. Yellow cake, of course, kind of the referring to enriched uranium, right? And so these are kind of very sarcastic pieces, but nestled in there is this incredibly gorgeous piece called Farewell to Stromness, which is almost like, it sounds like a folk song, essentially. And it's become, I think, I don't know if Davies would say this, but it's probably become his crowning piece of music, the thing that he's most known for. And after you hear it, you'll understand why. So, Farewell to Stromness by Peter Maxwell Davies. So this, the final piece on the first half is by a Spanish guitarist by the name of Miguel Llobet. And this piece was written in 1908, and it's the variations on a theme of soar. And the theme in question is actually not, he's referring to the guitarist Fernando Soar, who lived about 100 years prior. And the theme in question is actually not Soar's original theme. It's actually is a much older melody from roughly the Renaissance called Folias. And many composers over the years have written their own set of variations on Folias, and here's Miguel Llobet's edition. This piece, even though it was written in 1908, it's incredibly ahead of its time. And I think as you see all the different variations, you'll kind of begin to understand why. There are, along with the theme itself and a little intermezzo in the middle, a little calm, kind of beautiful little intermezzo, there's 10 variations. So you can say that there's essentially 12 episodes in this season. So without further ado, here's the variations on theme of Soar by Miguel Llobet.
Let's hear it again for Mark on the guitar. Wow. In a moment, we're going to have a short intermission, but before we do, I want to welcome up Peggy Miller to speak about Gateway 180, a fantastic organization and part of the reason that we're here. Come on up.
Yes, wow, I've never seen anything like that on the guitar. That was amazing. So thank you, Mark, and thank you, Brian, for hosting all these benefit concerts for the core missions in our church. And I am on the Gateway Action team along with, I see a few of us here, yeah. And we help out Gateway 180 homeless services in the city. They're the largest 24-hour emergency shelter in Missouri, and they have 125 beds. They serve women, children, and family members. And believe it or not, the average age is 9 years old. So there's a lot of young kids there. And I was glad to hear when I called down there today that they didn't have any destruction from the tornadoes that we just had. However, they could have some more people come for their services because so many people had terrible damage. But Gateway has, like I said, 125 beds, and they last year they served about 470 individuals and found housing for 65% of those, found permanent housing. And they're a bare bones operation because we've been down there a lot. So 85 cents on every dollar that you contribute goes directly to the clients there at Gateway. And we provide here at Trinity, we provide brown bags for their lunches. Most of the people work, most of the adults work, and we provide 120 brown bags a month, and they take those to work with them, and that's their lunch. And then also we started doing sloppy joes, and Jerry makes a lot of the meat for that. But so we do a meal for them also. And then one Friday a month we help sort the donations in the basement, where they've had a lot of flooding and various things over the years. So we really appreciate your supporting Gateway today, and this amazing music really tops it off special. So thank you all for coming, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Peggy. At this time, Eric and Laura are going to come around with plates, and we'll take an offering. After that, we'll have a short intermission. Thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for your generosity. And lifting up Gateway 180 is one of our core missions here at Trinity. Let's welcome back to the stage W. Mark Akin.
Thank you so much. That piece, Junto al Generalife, has one of my favorite openings of all of the repertoire. So I just knew, like, for this season, I was like, oh, I really want to program this piece. So this next one is just an allegro in D major by the Argentinian guitarist Jorge Morel. Jorge Morel is very well known in the classical guitar world, and he has a lot of pieces that are that really have become standards in the repertoire. However, this piece I just kind of happened to stumble across in this big stack of music by Jorge, and I just fell in love with the piece. And the real tragedy is that nobody knows this piece. Like, it's no one's heard of it. And so I don't know. It's not only do I love it, but it's like kind of like my duty to help get all this extra music out there, right? You know. So here's the Allegro in Re by Jorge Morel. So this next piece is a two-movement work by French-Canadian composer and guitarist Patrick Roux. And it's entitled La Valle de la Luna, or the Valley of the Moon. And so the Valley of the Moon is a real place. It's in Chile. And it's a very barren landscape. It almost looks like it's on the surface, you're on the surface of the moon, which is one of the reasons it's called the Valley of the Moon. It's also one of the best places in the world for stargazing. And so a couple reasons why it gets that title. And so these two movements are essentially Padre Guru's impressions of when he visited the Valley of the Moon. And so the first contemplation, it's very dark, it's very moody, it has all these kind of lower register chord clusters and stuff, and has this sort of kind of stormy middle section. And then the second movement, the Desert d'Atacama, that is the desert of where the Valley of the Moon is located, the Atacama Desert. And it has all these twisty roadways to get there. And so the movement, once it starts, the second movement, once it starts, it doesn't stop until the end. It just like keeps going. And and once I heard, when I was doing some research for music for this season, I heard the first few seconds of that second movement, and I knew that, okay, this guy has my name written all over it. This speaks to me. So here's The Valley of the Moon by Patrick Wu. Thank you so much. So this final piece is entitled Seis por Derecho by a Venezuelan guitarist named Antonio Lauro. And this piece, along with pretty much, there's a particular dance from Venezuela called a joropo. And so every measure basically alternates between 6/8 and 3/4. So sometimes you have a 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3 sort of feel. Other times it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and so it kind of goes back and forth between those two rhythms, but at a really quick pace. So sometimes you don't really even feel the measure. It's just kind of goes by. And so Seis por Derecho just means it's just a typical kind of Venezuelan dance. So thank you all so much for coming this afternoon. And here's Antonio Lauro's Seis por Derecho.
Wow. On behalf of Trinity Lutheran Church, a big thank you to Mark for coming out. And folks, if you'd like to join us, we're going to have a reception just downstairs to your right. And thank you to Susan Seckel for organizing that. Thank you for coming and enjoy the afternoon.